All right, we're all set. Floor is yours, Dede.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Maya. So let me just quickly share my screen and then we can get started. Okay, can you see my screen? Awesome, awesome. Okay. So thank you again, Maya, for putting this together and inviting me to kickstart the speaker series. So hello to everyone, and today I'll be speaking on the topic entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship. What's the difference and how to get started? But before we get started, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Dede Ankrah. I am an MBA graduate from the University of Oxford Said Business School in the United Kingdom and hold an undergraduate degree in computer engineering. I have nearly a decade of commercial experience under my belt, specifically in the area of business management. I am currently the executive director of Tiapo, a social enterprise that merges art and healthcare to tackle the stroke crisis in my home country, Ghana. I am also an instructor with Scholar Launch and serve on the editorial board of the Scholarly Review Journal. So that's enough about me. So let's go right into it. Now, by the end of this session, I hope that you as students would understand the distinction between entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship. I hope to highlight a few practical steps and share tips for beginning your entrepreneurial journey. And finally, we shall explore the ethical considerations and challenges in entrepreneurship and social impact ventures. Okay, let's jump right into it. Now, in the most basic and simplest term, I would say that entrepreneurship is the art of turning ideas into action. Now, more formally, entrepreneurship is the process of creating, developing, and managing a business venture with the goal of making a profit. Now, typically, entrepreneurs identify opportunities, take risks, and innovate to bring their ideas to market. Now, I would say social entrepreneurship, on the other hand, is where business meets purpose. It is the pursuit of sustainable business ventures designed to address pressing social or environmental issues. So basically, it's not just about making a profit, but the focus here is on making a positive impact. Okay, so in an era where innovation reigns supreme, entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship have become the heartbeat of economic growth and societal change. So let's explore why these concepts are not just buzzwords, but essential elements shaping our global landscape today. Now let's begin with the stats. Now, over the last decade, both traditional and social entrepreneurship have contributed over 65% growth in the job market worldwide. In the US alone, small businesses have generated 2/3 of all new jobs and fueled over 50% of the GDP. Now, I would like to share an excerpt from the book Better Capitalism by economists Litan and Schramm, which focuses on the huge but often unrecognized importance of entrepreneurship to overall economic growth. It says, and I paraphrase, entrepreneurs spanning modern economic history have been the driving force behind revolutionary innovations like the airplane, railroad, automobile, and more. These transformative inventions not only reshaped consumer lifestyles, but also laid the foundation for substantial economic changes. So, to sum it all up, entrepreneurship incites innovation, and innovation in turn opens the doors to new markets, products, and technologies. Okay, now let's examine the difference between traditional entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship by assessing their goals and impacts. It is important to recognize that the intricate distinctions between entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship lies in their goals and impact. Now, in terms of the goal, while traditional entrepreneurship primarily focuses on profit-making and business growth, social entrepreneurship aims to address social or environmental issues along with achieving financial sustainability. What more, in terms of the impact, traditional entrepreneurship makes a significant impact on the economy, which I have already addressed, through economic growth and job creation. Whereas social entrepreneurship makes a distinct impact by addressing specific challenges and creating positive societal and environmental changes. Now, keep in mind that it is these nuanced differences that reflect the diverse purposes and outcomes associated with each field. Okay, so let's get deeper into the business of the day. I'd like to share a few examples of successful entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs, beginning with the trailblazer, Elon Musk. Now, I'm sure you've heard about Elon Musk. If you haven't, then perhaps you've heard of Tesla or SpaceX or even X, formerly Twitter. Okay, so Elon Musk is a great example of a traditional entrepreneur. He's the founder of SpaceX, Tesla, and he recently acquired X. Now, we will delve more into his story and others later on in the presentation. The second trailblazer I would like to talk a bit about is Mohammed Yunus, a social entrepreneur and founder of Grameen Bank. Now, in 2006, he was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize for pioneering the concepts of microcredit and microfinance, and his work in bridging the financial gap through Grameen Bank's microloan model. Then we have Mosiah Bridges, who founded a bow tie business, Mo's Bows at 9, and appeared on Shark Tank. We also have Rachel Zietz, who identified a gap in the market for high-quality, affordable lacrosse equipment, and so founded Gladiator Lacrosse at just 13 years. Now let's look at a couple of students doing great things in the social entrepreneurship space. Now at 12, Shabon Baji founded Brago Labs, a low-cost Braille printer. So for those who may not know what a Braille printer does, it converts digital text into Braille on paper to assist the visually impaired to read. Now, he was also invited to showcase this printer at the White House and received funding from Intel for his business. And last but certainly not the least, we have Ria Karumachi, who combined her passion for helping others and her knowledge in machine learning to develop the Smart Cane, a tech-enhanced version of the common white cane typically used by the visually impaired. Now, she's recognized as one of the top 20 teen entrepreneurs worldwide. Okay, so we've talked about what entrepreneurship is, why it's important, and I've shared a few examples of successful entrepreneurs. So now the question is, how can you start your entrepreneurial journey? Now, I would like to share this using 3 broad steps. Of course, these are not exhaustive in themselves, but are meant to serve as a guide on how to get started. Now, I believe the Leadership and Innovations Lab headed by Maya have a comprehensive program for aspiring entrepreneurs like yourself. Okay, and so the first step is the ideation process. This is where you generate and refine your business idea or ideas. The next is the market research. This is where you carry out both quantitative and qualitative research and analysis to understand your target audience, your industry, competitors, and the overall landscape. And then the step 3 is business planning. This is the stage where you develop a solid business plan for execution. So this includes the marketing strategy, go-to-market plan, financial projections, things like that. Now, you'll notice the iterative nature of the 3 stages in entrepreneurship. Now, each stage of ideation, market research, and business planning inform and influence the others, creating a dynamic cycle of improvement and innovation. Okay, now as you probably know or might have experienced firsthand, every journey's got its fair share of ups and downs. And jumping into entrepreneurship is no exception. But you can tackle these challenges by navigating with resilience and adaptability, and two, turning obstacles into opportunities. Now, later on, I will share some entrepreneurial stories to illustrate these attitudes. But for a quick example, take Netflix. Now, back in 1997, it started as a DVD rental business. However, seeing the change in how people consume content, they switched from the then declining DVD market to streaming video and on-demand services. Now, fast forward to today, and Netflix remains a big player in the streaming industry. So you see, network navigated challenges with declining DVD rental business by adapting its business model and entering the streaming space. Now they turned obstacles that they had met into opportunities. Okay, now to some practical tips on the entrepreneurial journey. One is network actively. Here, I'm talking about building meaningful connections in your industry. You can do this by attending industry events, conferences, basically looking out for opportunities to form collaboration and find mentors, which is very important. Two, continuously learning. Now, I cannot overemphasize how important staying curious and staying updated on industry trends and skills is. You could sign up for online courses or workshops to expand your knowledge in whatever area that interests you. Remember how student entrepreneur Ria was able to use her knowledge of machine learning to build a business? Well, three, embrace innovation. Foster a mindset of creativity and adapt to new technologies. Again, a great example is the smart cane that basically use technology to enhance the common white cane. Now, the last two tips are actually by a coach of mine from back inside business school. Experience is the best teacher. Work in a startup or try something yourself, however small. Nothing beats experience and getting your hands dirty. The best way to learn is to try. And finally, practice pitching. Now, what if I tell you you are a pitch away from landing your first investment capital? Well, learning how to pitch is an extremely valuable tool. So look for avenues to perfect that elevator pitch. Okay, so I have talked quite a bit about entrepreneurship in the traditional sense. Let's talk about how to start your social entrepreneurial journey. Now, note that the insights I'm about to share regarding venturing into social entrepreneurship build upon the groundwork I've previously covered for starting your entrepreneurial journey. Now, while I previously delved into foundational steps for launching a business in the general sense, I shall now focus on specific considerations and actions relevant to social entrepreneurship. Okay, so purpose-driven impact. Now, in social entrepreneurship, having a purpose-driven impact is paramount. Successful ventures like Tom's Shoes have showed the transformative power of having a clear mission beyond profit. Now, for every pair of shoes sold, Tom's pledges to donate a pair to a child in need. This is what they call 1 for 1. And now this commitment to social impact has not only resonated with consumers, but has also showcased how a purpose-driven approach can drive business success. Now, Tom's grew from a startup based in an apartment in California to a global company worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Then we have the triple bottom line. Now, social entrepreneurs operate with a triple bottom line, emphasizing people, planet, and profits. Now, this holistic approach recognizes that successful businesses should not only be financially profitable, but should also contribute positively to society and the environment, which aligns with the broader goal of creating a sustainable and equitable future. So, what are some actionable steps you can take as someone interested in building a social venture? Step 1, identify a cause. Identifying a cause you are passionate about is the foundation. To add to the many great examples we've already seen is Warby Parker, an eyewear company that has aligned its sales with a buy a pair, give a pair mission, quite similar to what Tom's does. So for every pair of glasses purchased, a pair is donated to someone in need. 2, champion collaboration. Collaboration with communities is key. Now, Grameen Bank's microfinance model exemplifies how involving communities directly contributes to impactful social change. Now, if you remember, I touched a bit on Grameen Bank when I was talking about Mohammed Yunus, one of the biggest social entrepreneurs we have. And then 3, harness tech for impactful change, also known as tech for good. So leveraging technology is crucial for social entrepreneurs. Now, an example is online lending platform called Kiva, which showcases how technology can connect global money lenders with entrepreneurs to create a meaningful impact. Okay. Now, let's go back to some entrepreneurs I introduced earlier. Let's examine their journeys, their story, challenges they met and overcame, and lessons learned. Now, when Elon Musk initially founded Tesla, the electric car industry was met with skepticism, with doubts about the viability of electric vehicles and the concerns about the company's ability to compete in the vehicle market. He even invested his own money into Tesla Motors, which led to some financial strain on him. Then SpaceX. Initial launches faced failures, intensifying skepticism about the feasibility of a private company succeeding in space exploration. Now, despite these challenges and doubts, Musk persisted, demonstrating a remarkable entrepreneurial spirit and determination to overcome obstacles. Now, SpaceX has achieved significant milestones, including successful crew missions and advancement in reusable rocket technology. And Tesla is a market leader in the electric vehicle industries. Now, the success of both Tesla and SpaceX is a testament to Elon Musk's resilience and long-term vision. The next profile I'd like to highlight is Mohammed Yunus. Now, inspired by the severe poverty in rural Bangladesh, he envisioned a system where small loans could empower individuals to create businesses and improve their economic conditions. Now, Yunus encountered skepticism from traditional banking institutions who doubted the feasibility and effectiveness of providing microloans to the poor. However, he didn't give up. He pioneered microcredit and microfinance, empowering individuals in poverty to access financial services. Now, his story reflects the transformative power of social entrepreneurship in addressing global challenges and promoting financial inclusion. Now, let's turn the spotlight on Mosiah Bridges. At the age of 9, Mosiah developed a passion for dressing well and wearing bow ties. Dissatisfied with the limited options available for young boys, he decided to create his own stylish and unique bow ties. Now, Mosiah faced challenges in the early stages of Mo's bows, particularly with sourcing material. However, he creatively addressed challenges by using his grandmother's scrap material to make the initial bow ties. Now, despite challenges, Mosiah's commitment and creativity and the ability to turn challenges into opportunities allowed him to build a brand that not only overcame hurdles, but still flourishes in the fashion industry today. And finally, we have Shaban Baji. Now, what began as a simple question, how do blind people read, led to Brago Labs, a company that produces low-cost Braille printers, which he founded at the tender age of 12. Now, he was inspired to create the printer after learning about the high cost of Braille printers and the lack of accessibility for visually impaired people. Now, like the others, he also faced challenges during his journey. He faced funding difficulty and a steep learning curve. However, with resilience, determination, and adaptability, he was able to rise above these challenges. He engaged with the community through crowdfunding, showcasing his entrepreneurial spirit and ability to turn challenges into opportunities. He's now one of the youngest entrepreneurs to secure venture capital funding, and his company has continued to grow and develop new products that help visually impaired individuals. Now, before I move to the next slide, just take a minute to think about how these amazing entrepreneurs took different paths, yet each story shows resilience, creative problem solving, and making an impact. Okay, now let's have a look at some challenges and nuances in the world of traditional and social entrepreneurship. Navigating the ethical maze. Now, making a decision in entrepreneurship often comes with ethical considerations, particularly in industries where there are societal and environmental impacts. And so, balancing profit motives and social responsibility can lead to dilemmas in these situations. Also, industries with societal consequences, such as those impacting the environment or public health, pose unique ethical challenges. Entrepreneurs must navigate these challenges to ensure that their actions align with societal values and expectations. Now, let me use the case of Tesla to better illustrate these points. Now, while Tesla electric cars significantly contribute to reducing carbon emissions, the extraction of lithium for the electric car vehicles introduces environmental challenges, including soil and water pollution. Now, Elon Musk faces the balancing act of addressing environmental concerns associated with lithium extraction while maintaining a commitment to a sustainable future. Sorry. Okay. Now let's look at the challenges in measuring social impact. Okay. So we are talking about capturing the whole picture, and it's not just the usual numbers game. Social entrepreneurship, social interventions often bring holistic and intangible benefits that don't neatly fit into traditional matrix. And so for social entrepreneurs, measuring impact becomes this ongoing nuanced process. Now, take Tom's shoes for instance. Quantifying the qualitative benefits of providing shoes for health and education becomes tricky because social issues are like a web. Providing shoes isn't just about feet. It ripples into healthcare, education, and community development all at once. Trying to isolate the impact of one thing from the mix, it's a puzzle. Also, impact isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. What works in one community might not do the same elsewhere, making it particularly challenging to apply standardized measurements universally. And finally, sourcing eco-friendly materials for shoe production is costly. Balancing the mission of helping others with keeping the business profitable is a constant struggle in this space. Okay, so let's briefly have a look at how environmental policies can both encourage and pose roadblocks in the entrepreneurial journey. On one hand, these policies can foster entrepreneurship by offering incentives, regulatory frameworks, and financial support. Now, looking at the other side of the coin, strict regulations can throw some serious hurdles at entrepreneurs. They come with complex rules to follow, high upfront costs, and loads of paperwork. Now, take a fintech entrepreneur, for instance. They might hit roadblocks dealing with financial regulations designed for traditional banking. So, startups in this space could really struggle to play by the rules and roll out innovative new financial solutions to the market. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it's super important to strike a balance between keeping an eye on the rules, and letting innovation thrive. We want regulations to neither squash entrepreneurship nor put the public's well-being at risk. Okay, so funding disparities. Now, talking about the differences in investor funding, especially for social entrepreneurs, things can get a bit tricky. Social impact ventures, as mentioned before, are a bit unconventional, and it's not always easy to measure their impact. That's where the hiccup comes in, because regular investors might lean more towards financial gains than the social impact these ventures bring. So, still, this matter can be tackled by implementing standardized metrics designed to measure social impacts. Now, this brings us to the end of the presentation. But before I take questions, let me say that whether you're navigating the business landscape or diving into social entrepreneurship, success lies in navigating the nuances, adapting to challenges, and finding innovative ways to make a positive impact. Now, armed with these insights, go out there and kickstart those entrepreneurial dreams. Feel free to ask any questions at this point.
Hey, Dede, thank you for that.
Hi.
Yeah, it's been live streamed to YouTube and I can see some views streaming in. So that was super useful with all the very detailed examples. And I think that everybody here really benefited from that. I
Awesome.
will now open the floor to questions. And I also actually have two that I've collected from students who couldn't
Awesome.
be here that I wanted to ask you. So anybody in the audience right now, speak now or forever hold your peace for questions. If not, I will swoop in. All right, let me see if I see any hands raised. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. So I will ask some questions that I have promised my students that I will ask you, Dede.
Okay.
Some hard-hitting questions, so brace yourself. All right, number one. Does this actually mean that social enterprises have to be even more profitable than regular enterprises since they have to make more money to also do good?
So that's an interesting question. Very good question. Now, in terms of profits, let's use Tom's as an example, right? Now, in terms of the mission, it was created to serve as a business venture, but then to also provide some help in terms of children in need who can otherwise not afford shoes. Now, you notice that these kind of missions strike a chord with consumers. Consumers are now more inclined to support businesses that actually have a social mission backing it. And so in terms of profits, interestingly, once you delve into this the social impact space, you'd realize that you are able to still make the kind of profit you need to reinvest in your mission goal, and still be able to hit to cover your books and ensure that the business is still operational. So in terms of profits, because the main focus here is on the mission, interestingly enough, you are able to end up making the kind of numbers that you're envisioning. So it's a dicey and interesting space, but very fulfilling.
Okay. So, and I think that we also see more and more, right? More and more companies like
Yes.
Patagonia or Tom's or the was it Warby Parker's, the glasses
Yes.
company that you mentioned
Exactly.
now. So more and more companies are doing something like this. So I think that
Yeah.
this is probably also part of a larger what is that called? paradigm shift. There we go.
Yeah.
A larger paradigm shift where more and more people are thinking that, we should not probably only focus on profit. So for all of you out there wondering, do we actually have to raise ourselves to a higher standard? I actually think that part of that is true, but part of it is that your work might also be gradually made easier by a change in the paradigm of how consumers think about expenditure and consumption.
Precisely.
Definitely being more and more green, for instance, is starting to be a real, I wouldn't even say plus, it's kind of now a criteria nowadays, given all the environmental reports that any kind of construction will have to go through, for instance.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's a great question you posed. I actually have a question at the end, which is quite similar to what you just asked.
Okay. Would it be okay if I asked you another question that
Definitely.
are from some of my students? Okay, I think this one is perhaps more applicable to kind of the daily bread and butter kind of questions that I get in the Leadership and Innovation Lab. So, and I quote, "As a student, I feel that all of these big names are so far away from me. I feel like I have to recognize my own constraints and limits. I'm just a regular high school student. What advice do you have for, say, a very small scale social enterprise? How do you think I should do this? And more importantly, is it quote unquote enough to do something very small scale?"
Definitely. It's completely and very and yes, it is enough. Now, if you look at the examples that I shared, if you look at the student entrepreneurs that we've spoken about, it started with something very small. They identified a problem, they wanted to address this problem or solve the problem. And then from something small, it blew up to become this big, large scale company. Even Tom's actually started in an apartment in California. And it's now this multi-million dollar company. And so, yes, it's just about trying just the little steps, just trying something small. If you notice, even in terms of the tips I gave, I encourage students to try something. Just look at what you're passionate about and try and find a space where you can actually be a problem solver. That's all it takes. So the small steps.
Okay, I fully agree with that, Dede. Thank you very much. Sometimes it's helpful to hear it from somebody else. So thank you very much for, uniting with me in that message and
Yeah.
building on what Dede said. I think that, Rome wasn't built in a day. Nothing is really built in a day. So if you kind of try and envision yourself jumping to that level within a week, a month, that's just not a realistic goal. All right. So start very small, set yourself piecemeal goals bit by bit. And part of also starting small is also think ultimately the question of who reaches the destination, if even is a destination, is also a question of who doesn't give up. So there's this question of grit that is another subject for another installment of the LIL Speaker series that adds into any kind of entrepreneurial endeavor is the power of grit and the power of resilience. I think that's something that we will look to cover in future installments as well. Well,
Awesome.
for today,
I actually have a question for the students.
Go ahead.
You can feel free to answer or just think about it. But then my question is, do you think that it is possible for businesses to be truly sustainable and profitable at the same time? Does anyone want to go for it?
Any takers for this question? If not, I will actually note it down and ask my questions in the classes that I run probably over the next 2 weeks. I don't see anyone right now, but if I will take a jab at that, to be honest, oh, there we go. We have Yoshi. Hey, Yoshi.
Okay.
Yoshi says
Hi,
that
Yoshi.
I don't think that it's possible for it to be both sustainable and profitable. You know what? I don't completely disagree with you, Yoshi. On my more pessimistic days, I also think that it's not possible, but then, varies, fluctuates. What do you say to that, Dede?
Well, looking at the world today, I can understand why Yoshi would be coming from this place. However, I believe that sustainability or being a sustainable and profitable shouldn't be mutually exclusive because that's the future that we are trying to envision. And so I believe that the marriage of sustainability and profitability is not just a possibility. I believe that it's imperative for a brighter and more responsible future.
Great. And just let me add one last thing on what Dede
Yeah.
said, everybody. There was a time not so long ago when it was inconceivable that women could work, or that women could own a bank account, that women could run for office. There was a time when nobody believed that this was possible. So, never say never. All right.
Never say never.
I think that with that, I would like to give you a big round of applause, Dede. Thank you so much for being here with us, for taking time out of your busy schedule for this extremely thorough and I think very insightful presentation. I don't think I could have chosen a better person to open our LIL speaker series with. So my gratitude.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to call an end to this installment 1 of the LIL Speaker Series. Thank you everyone who's here with us in this Zoom room, as well as here with us on YouTube watching the live stream. Please do join us again for installment 2. This is a quarterly speaker series, so the next one is going to be in March. Everyone have a lovely holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you all.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Happy holidays.